Welcome to Kazi Big Boy Travel News segment, where we give you a lowdown of what's happening from across the world. Our first news item takes us all the way to Madrid, Spain, where Nissan invited yours truly to actually sample their new EV technologies that they anticipate will trickle down to sub-Saharan Africa, including Kenya, by 2030. And the first technology is the Nissan e-Power. Now, I had a chance to sample e-Power, but I know you're asking, what is e-Power? So Nissan have actually identified a gap in the market. So many manufacturers are now trying to push the traditional customers from internal combustion engines all the way to EVs. But there is something called range anxiety. So how do you sort that out and still give the customer the pleasure of driving an EV? Enter Nissan e-Power. Now, e-Power is an amalgamation of technologies that will actually help the customer understand how an EV works and, of course, eliminates range anxiety. So this system actually has two major components. You have the internal combustion engine, which acts like a generator. So it's not connected to the wheels. And of course, that particular engine is the variable compression engine by Nissan. So it's a very interesting new technology. So basically, it can vary its basically on low speed it can actually work like a diesel, at high speed it can work like a petrol. So it's very interesting, and you have about 156 horsepower on that. Now that power is actually charging the inverter that actually runs the dynamo. So it has a motor as well. So all that power is converted from the dynamo into the motor, into the wheels, courtesy of a 140 kilowatt motor that just gives you absolute thrill. So there's no connection between the engine and the wheels, so it's the motor basically. So it's a dyno. You know the bicycle where you have a dyno, so it runs as you pedal, it will light up the bulb. Similar concept, but Nissan are trying to give customers a pleasurable EV feel. Now the first product that will come into the country with this new technology will be definitely the Nissan Qashqai, which looks amazing. It's brand new, it's coming into the market, and of course we expect also the Nissan X-Trail at some point to actually have it. Welcome to Kazi Big Boy Travel social media segment, where we give you the opportunity to say what you feel about the show. So today we go straight all the way to our YouTube channel. In case you haven't subscribed, please visit CBBT_TV and subscribe and get the latest information courtesy of Kazi Big Boy Travel. Now we go to YouTube, and the first person who actually dropped us a line is a lady by the name of Lydia Monique, and she says, "Well done, Border Plus, all Kenyan, all the time." I can tell you, doing this story about Border Plus has shown me how the potential of the country we have in as far as creating opportunities for employment and manufacturing. So well done, Border Plus. People actually love the show. The second person is actually called John Mark, and he says, "Well done, Kazi Big Boy Travel, for showing us Basigo. I think electric buses are the way to go." That is true, and I think it's still technology in progress, but we are happy to embrace that as a country. So, I mean, everybody wants to go electrification, but of course, there'll be bottlenecks, but we need to start, and Basigo is the way we need to go as a country. So, if you have any questions, comments, or queries, don't hesitate to write to us as seen on the social media handles below. We'll get back to you with the feedback next week. So before I forget, please subscribe. Kazi Big Boy Travel CBBT_TV on all our social media platforms. See you next week. And welcome back to this part of the show. We normally take this opportunity to thank everyone who's been part of the Kazi Big Boy Travel journey, more so specifically Car in general. We know they have celebrated 85 years of existence, and of course they are representative of quite a number of brands, from TVS, Kubota, Piaggio. They are doing so much amazing things. But today on Kazi Big Boy Travel, it's all about speaking to the head, Mr. VJ, and he's going to give us a lowdown of what the company is anticipating through this particular period. There's a bit of recovery after COVID, and of course their future projections. We're going to talk about electric tuk-tuks. So are you excited? Let's go.
Thank you, Trevor. Yeah, no, we're very proud of our investment in Border Plus. It's a helmet manufacturing factory with a capacity of 64,000 units a month. It's one of its kind, the only one I think in East and Central Africa. It's globally competitive. We produce at prices that we buy from even cheaper than China, cheaper than India, for the same quality, like-for-like quality. We're a very high quality product, very safe for our border riders. So, and it's a state-of-the-art factory, so we're very proud of it, and I must say it's something that we would like to continue to expand. So right now with the current plant we can do 64,000 as I said earlier. We can take it up quite easily to 96,000, which would be on a very marginal investment basis. We have the space to do it. And actually the truth is we can keep expanding it. It just depends on how big the demand is. If the demand continues to grow, we'll continue to expand. We're the only one of its kind, as I said, so hopefully we'll be able to do well. Well, for Border Plus it's great. I mean, we employ 200 people. You know, a lot of them are ladies, female, so that's really important. As a group, we're committed to growing employment in Kenya. We grew our group employment by 1,000 people last year. So it's significant. For us, creating employment, industrial employment is fantastic. It's the future of becoming a more developed nation. And so, you know, being able to create industrial employment for us is a critical factor. So that's another big one for us. So we're going to be launching the electric tuk-tuks on a test basis in the month of April. So we're really looking forward to that. We think we've got a very good product that's fit for purpose, which has been developed by Piaggio. And the truth is that on the motorbike side, we're also looking to work with our suppliers to come up with a fit for purpose product. And we want to be the driver of electrification. And we feel over the next 10 years, if we can get 1/3 of all the motorbikes into electric, that's a great target. And it would do a huge amount for the climate change in the economy. So I think we're looking forward to that too. So a lot of excitement ahead of us.
So guys, the electric revolution is right here. It's amongst us, and I can tell you, like it or not, we should embrace it. Where did this journey start? Remember, 125 years ago, Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler began to develop the internal combustion engines that is used in every single vehicle up to date. Of course, we've had variants, the diesel ones, by Auto Diesel. But again, it's all about electrification. Why did the manufacturers decide that perhaps having an electric vehicle is sustainable for the future? What does it mean for the internal combustion engine? Is it the end of it? We're going to answer all those questions today, because right now we are just about to sample the first electric vehicle to be sold by a local dealer, the Hyundai Electric Kona. What is it all about? I'm going to take you through the paces, how it drives, how it feels, how do you charge it, how much does it cost, and of course, give you a value for money proposition between that and an internal combustion engine vehicle of the same size and capacity. So you do not want to miss that. So we start this particular review by taking a look at the design phase of the Hyundai Electric Kona. So guys, from the first glance, what do you see? You see an recognizable face. This is a Hyundai Electric Kona. But if you've noticed, there's something that is missing. There is no grille to air the engine bay. Why? Because this car doesn't have an engine. So it only has a battery pack and a motor, and that is it. So also this particular design aids the vehicle to become extremely aerodynamic by reducing drag but not having a grille. The drag coefficient of this particular vehicle is 0.29 CD, which makes it very good when it comes to extending the range of the vehicle. Now, another thing that you've seen is the color-coded design. So from your typical Kona perspective, apart from the grille, there is actually there's a socket right there, you know. So instead of having your, typical filler cap, like on the rear quarter of the car, it's actually up front because everything is powered from this electric center. The motor, the batteries are all stacked up somewhere around here. So you do have two slots. One slot is for your typical wall charger, all right? We're going to talk about that later in terms of range. Number two, you do have a DC charger, which is a fast charger, and will allow you to charge this car from 0 to 80% in roughly 50 minutes if you're using the 100 kilowatt powered charger. That is extremely important. Now, obviously, as you can see, the typical headlight design, it's got a quirky look. This reminds me of the Citroen C4. Remember, Citroen used to have some similar design, but again, anybody who's in the course of a business actually creates cars that are striking and very different. You've seen the Nissan Juke. We've seen even Hyundai having their own Kona. So again, the name of the game is to stand out and bring it exactly out of the crowd. Now, underneath, again, you do have a different color-coded plastic bumper with some, it looks like brushed aluminum trim to give this car some je ne sais quoi that we keep on talking about on cars with big boy Trev. Again, even if it's an electric car, the design has to be perfect. It has to fit and correspond with this particular technology. So how does the side look? Let's take a look at the side profile of the Hyundai Kona. So guys, this is a side profile of this particular Hyundai Kona Electric. Still your typical Kona design, but of course with subtle differences. So what Hyundai have done is to create some unique flowing symmetry that runs across the whole body profile. Obviously, as you can see the roof, there's some sloping sort of design coupled with these color-coded roof rails. Again, je ne sais quoi. Premiumness has to come at an expense. This is why Hyundai thought about designing a car that still looks good, still looks premium, and yet is still electric. Now, as you can see, there's a flowing line right from the front fender goes away to the lower hip line that runs across all the way to the back to the rear third, again merging with the rear tail light. Windows are large, so it means you have enough light coming into the cabin. That is something that's very practical as well. Kids would love at the back because there's plenty of room and they can open up the window to the full extent so that they're able to hang out and say, hey, dad is driving an electric car. That's the whole point of driving an electric car. So guys, the most important thing I do love about this particular vehicle are the rims and wheels. Now the rims are aerodynamically designed to reduce drag, and of course the rubbers as well. They are EcoPro comfort, so they don't make noise and they have added traction. That is extremely important in this name of the game, where you do have instantaneous torque in a tire that will last, and of course it will be very quiet, because remember, an electric car is very quiet, so road noise will be very minimal with this type of tire. Now as we move towards the rear third, as you can see, there's a plastic cladding on the floor door sill. Again, this car can do a little bit of off-roading. It doesn't mean that this car can do like a Santa Fe or a Palisade, like you can do like proper off-roading, no, like your typical Maram excursion, when you're going to Yoshamba or you're going to Rongai or somewhere in Gong. You can actually use this particular car to do and meet your daily needs. Rear quarter as well, as you can see, there's this typical design over here. You do have the crossover design where the window sill and the D-pillar merge together, creating some illusion of movement, of flowing, of symmetry. Remember, Hyundai have been very keen on that fluid motion concept that we've seen others employ in the market. So again, well done Hyundai for creating such a vehicle that still looks very stylish and yet is a game changer. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the design perspective of the Hyundai Electric Kona. It's not so different from the internal combustion version, but again, it's got its own unique set of features. But what's so different inside the cabin? Well, step inside and have a look at this particular cabin. The first thing that comes to my mind, it actually looks like a typical Hyundai. If you've been in the Hyundai Tucson, it looks exactly the same. Even the way they've done the layout. So familiarity is the name of the game, and I think Hyundai have done an amazing job developing a vehicle that is electric but also feels very normal, very standard, In terms of quality, the materials are fantastic, soft touch plastic on top, and of course you do have this forward cab design that allows you to have plenty of space. And remember, this particular vehicle is an electric vehicle, so the firewall is placed further away so that the dashboard can be placed away as well to create room. As you can see, big boy, it's comfortable, as you can see, and even the passenger might have enough space for them. Leg and headroom is fantastic. But the highlight of this particular console and the dashboard is this massive display. It's a multimedia interface that actually houses quite a number of things: climate control, audio system, and this audio system is called Krill. Krill has an amazing sound system, and it sounds exactly like this. Nakufa, nakufa, nakufa. That is an amazing song courtesy of a Kenyan band. 3 guys, actually, they're doing an amazing job. So shout out to Amiloto, Ben Sol, and everybody else who's involved in that music. But again, you're able to enjoy such kind of music courtesy of this 6-speaker sound. All the treble notes are clear and precise. The bass is thumping hard, soft, and you can feel the bass right in your chest. And that's the beauty of having a proper audio system. So guys, I'm at the back of the Hyundai Electric Kona, and I can tell you there's plenty of space. This is a crossover entry level, and you can see I still have plenty of space. I'm 6'1", and you can see I have good headroom and legroom, which is fantastic. And I can tell you for a fact that how you package the interior of a cabin determines the space the amount of space about it. And remember, this is an electric vehicle. So, because there's no transmission tunnel, this hump is very low, and you have 3 people can actually sit 3 abreast quite comfortably here. So if you have 3 kids, fantastic. If you have 3 normal sized adults, not me, I'm not normal, you can fit quite well. So, I mean, it's wide enough and it's very spacious. The headroom is fantastic. But also remember, it's got a sloping roof line, so it's not too difficult. So the person in the middle might be slightly shorter, but they've done like a curvature to prevent that. So again, heads up, Hyundai have done an amazing job trying to make this Kona as practical as it can be. In terms of practicality, obviously the door panels do have some cavity where you can actually place 2 large water bottles, and of course you do have airline style pockets to put in your iPad or some of your equipment. Plus you do have a fast charge USB port that is available right here to charge your devices while on the go. How cool is that? Now let's move to the back and the boot to see if the carrying capacity of the Hyundai Electric Kona has been compromised by the electric battery. So let's move to the back and have a look at the boot space of this Hyundai Electric Kona. What do you think? So we touch this soft touch opening to reveal 361 liters of carrying capacity in the boot. So what Hyundai have done is to make sure that the floor is pretty flat so that you're able to retract your suitcases or your luggage quite easily without damaging the scuff plate that is on the lip of the boot. Now this particular 361 liter boot can actually carry roughly 3 large style suitcases, or in Kenyan terms, a bit of gunias, like 2 gunias, some groceries here and there, and then you can secure them using these tie-down hooks that are supplied across the whole place, including even the seats. Again, if you open up that boot lip, there's plenty of space where you can actually have some of your accessories. Underneath, you do have a tray that actually houses the charging component of the Hyundai Electric Kona. Remember, it comes with a typical wall charger that you can plug in on your wall socket at home, and your typical wall charger will give you roughly 9 hours of full battery charge. Come on and take a look. Just come and look. So as you can see, the charging component is right here, and of course you can be able to plug in. This is the socket, and you plug in, and voila, it charges your vehicle 100% in roughly 9 hours. So that is the beauty of having this Hyundai Electric Kona. And of course you do have this top cover shelf to prevent prying eyes from having a look at the cabin. What are you carrying at the back? But that is just the practicality aspect. This is a typical crossover, practical for your family. You have plenty of space. The materials, fit and finish is fantastic. But we want to feel the power of this particular Hyundai Electric Kona. How good is it on the road? Let's jump on the driver's seat and have a look at the Hyundai Electric Kona performance. So guys, I am driving the brand new Hyundai Kona Electric. For the first time in Kenya, we do have a car that is very accessible in our country. Previously, we actually sampled the Jaguar I-Pace in South Africa, and I can tell it was inaccessible. We loved the thrill, but this one is right here in Kenya. So thanks to Kaitana Kenya, who are the official dealers of Hyundai, for allowing us to drive this particular car and sample it. So what makes it different from a typical crossover SUV? Now this one is powered by a battery, all right? Electric power and a motor. Now that motor produces roughly about 300 horsepower, and it's a 64 kilowatt hour battery. Now remember, Hyundai have actually accessorized this particular electric Kona with 2 versions. So the 64 kilowatt hour battery and the 39 kilowatt hour battery, but this one is a high capacity one. So the range is about 400 kilometers. And of course, when you put your foot down, 0 to 100 in some 7 seconds, and it pulls effortlessly. The instant response courtesy of the electric power. There is no power losses. It is bang on, hammered down, and it is full electric power. And it is very, very smooth. It actually feels like you're driving a silky smooth V6. Now, in terms of the power output and the feel, 300 horsepower is not a joke. So you can imagine all that power is sent to the front wheels via a single speed transmission, and allows this car to accelerate all the way to its electronically limited speed of roughly 230 kilometers an hour, which is very stable. Now, in terms of handling, the car feels very planted because it has a heavy battery pack. The center of gravity is very good, so the batteries are placed on the floor to ensure that the vehicle has a good center of gravity. Plus, you have the added advantage of having very strong suspensions up front, McPherson struts. At the back, you do have independent suspension that allows this car to be planted on tarmac. Not only that, you do have driver aids that actually allow this particular car to have very good handling credentials. Let's talk about safety aspect. This particular vehicle has quite a number of features from a safety perspective. So from the active front, you have brake assist, anti-lock braking system, and of course stability control. But in case all else breaks loose, then you can rely on Hyundai's 6 airbags that come as standard, plus a 5-star safety rated passenger shell to dissipate impact energy away from the passenger, so that you and your family remain safe while in this particular vehicle. So that is just the short and long of this particular vehicle. But how does it feel on the road? I love the way the steering is very neutral. It's precise. You know, you're able to tell where the nose is pointing, and then you can actually toggle through the different modes. You're feeling sporty, then the instant torque, the power delivery is sent to the wheels via the motor, so it actually feels like you're driving a sports car. So 300 horsepower, in actual sense, is probably like driving, say, a 300 horsepower BMW, like a 330i, for example. I'm just using it as an example. So the kind of response is immense, and it makes very good driving power. I mean, if you love power, then you won't be disappointed with this Hyundai Kona Electric. But the question is, can it do a little bit of off-roading? This is a crossover. Well, it can do slightly, a bit, but doesn't have that good ground clearance that you'd probably find in, say, a Hyundai Creta or something like that. It's actually a very nice car. So guys, that has been the review of the Hyundai Electric Kona, a vehicle that has been built by Hyundai to show that Hyundai can actually build a vehicle that is reliable and sustainable from an African context, not in Europe, not in Asia, right here in Nairobi, Kenya. So what are the value propositions that we've seen while reviewing this particular car? Number one, it looks extremely good. They have worked extremely well to make sure that this car looks very, very handsome. Number two, the practicality aspect. This is a crossover, so it has plenty of space and practicality for you and your family. Number three, the performance. I can tell you, when you replace the ICE with the electric power, I can tell you the instantaneous response when you put the hammer down is mind-boggling. Number four, you do have the reliability and maintenance aspect. Again, it is 80% cheaper to run as compared to a typical ICE crossover. And number five, which is the most important, again, sustainability. Kind to the environment, and you're doing your part to ensure that this world becomes a greener and better place. So the biggest question still remains, how much does this car cost on the road? Now, this particular unit is sold and serviced by Kaitano Kenya, who are the official dealers of Hyundai right here in Kenya, and this car cost 8.8 million Kenya shillings, VAT inclusive. And of course, it comes with a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty plus an 8-year warranty on the battery pack. So again, you still get the typical Hyundai benefits of long-term warranties and of course the 8-year battery life that has been given by Hyundai. In terms of service, this car only comes in for service after every 2 years. Because there are less moving parts, the amount of service is only checking the brakes, probably the fluid levels, and of course maybe the suspension and the bushes. And the average check for this particular car is roughly 15,000 Kenya shillings, as compared to a similar crossover with an engine where you do service at roughly 10 to 15,000 after every 3 months. That is immense saving. That's food for thought. You need to understand that an electric vehicle has the capacity to save you money despite it having an initial cost which is expensive. We live in an era where cost cutting is important, saving is important, and perhaps the electric conversation will actually help you make that decision, make that big move. So on my end, as Kazi Big Boy Trev, it's my honor and pleasure to give you the facts as they are. Remember, electric revolution is coming. There's no way of stopping it, and this is just the beginning. So until next week, guys, be safe and make sure you catch Kazi Big Boy Trev after this particular show on YouTube at 7 p.m. And of course, we'll give you all the lowdown on this particular episode. Plus, you can catch up with hundreds of hours of Kazi Big Boy Trev season 8, 7, 6. We've done so much over the coming years, and we're going to give you much more cutting-edge reviews courtesy of this particular channel. So signing out, this is Big Boy Trev. Drive safe and be safe.